Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Gentleman's Bureau. Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be episode number 5. I'm over here in Germany. My boy Mark is over in Okinawa, and my other friend Jed is in Wisconsin. So, boys, how have we been? What's on your mind?
Been doing good. Good weather. Been pretty hot lately. A little bit of rain, so I've been happy.
We had a
What
lot
about
of
you?
rain here. Had a lot of rain here lately. In fact, it was really funny at work. I came in kind of late the other day, and I got there and they're like, "Yep, yard's closed," because there was lightning within 3 miles. So we had to wait around for like 2 hours of just like nothing getting done. At least for my team, because we have to be outside to do our job, and we couldn't be outside. But what was really funny was um, every like, so it's like a 30-minute shutdown for lightning strike, and it just kept like over and over again. It'd be like 5 minutes out, lightning strike, 10 minutes out, lightning strike. We never even got close to 30. And then at 1 o'clock, lightning strikes. 30 minutes of like no lightning. We're all like, yes, this is gonna be the one. This is it. Oh my God, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. The yard's gonna open. We're gonna do some work. 1:30, my buddy Q is on the mic. He's like, guys, the yard's open. We can get back to work. And I'm just like, hey Q, I just refreshed, man. It struck at 1:30 again. And he just like the defeat on his face. Oh my God. He's like, really?
Well, if you guys are punched in, how does that work?
Oh
Like,
yeah, we get paid to stand around basically. It's great.
so why the fuck are you guys so eager to like get going? Like, usually people would be like,
Because
"Sweet dude,
it's
please keep lightening, like
well,
keep lightening."
because
Right?
the amount
These
of work doesn't
Amazonians have a
change.
lot of pride in their work, man. They have a lot of pride in what
Yes,
they
we
do.
do.
I
No,
But
get
it's more
I
like
imagine.
the amount
No,
of
I get it.
work that we have doesn't really change. It's just shit. Now we have to do 4 hours worth of work in 2 hours. Oh,
Oh,
I get
yeah,
it.
so
that
yeah,
makes sense.
especially with
Yeah.
because I was doing hostler driving that day, so I could just see the moves piling up. I think I got to like 15 moves before we got the yard back open, and then they're not just 15 moves and then you're done. It's 15 moves you start, and they're going to add more as the need arises. So yeah, we were pretty busy.
If you stay later to get the job done, like, because I assume the way you just worded it is like the job has to be done. So, like,
Yeah,
if you stayed later, wouldn't you get overtime? Or
yes,
not
but
that you're
at a
trying to
certain
do that all the time, but I'm just saying.
yeah, of course. I don't want to be like a police officer just arresting people for no reason to get overtime. But anyway, yeah, so like they'll let me do it to an extent, and they'll let me get a few hours every week if the need arises. But generally, unless it's like the prime week or the holiday season, they tend to not want you to get overtime unless people like have something come up and you need to come in on a day off. But like generally, they want to keep people not on overtime, but they're okay with it if it happens.
Like most companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Overtime's sweet though because it's 10 hours for a day. So after you work 10 in a day, you start making overtime. It's not like you have to get to 40 hours before you can start getting overtime, which is nice.
Yeah. I was in a
So if I
company that
work
would
like,
mess me around like that,
mm,
where I'd get close to 40 hours, even though like I worked like maybe a whole bunch of 12s or something. I get close to that
Yeah.
40, and then they would be like, "Okay, you can't come in the rest of the week." I was like,
yeah, but yeah, if I work like 14 hours one day, actually 12 hours is like the max. If I work 12 hours one day and then next day I work like 8, I still get 2 hours of overtime. I just also don't get 2 hours of normal time, but that's fine because time and a half makes up for it.
Time and a half, is
"Fuck."
it? Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Makes sense.
Speaking of jobs, Mark, I know you've volunteered like teaching English, but like, what is your actual like making the bacon job?
The bacon.
Make it the bacon. Well, I actually work with my father-in-law in a company that he's been working for since he was like 16, and he's in his 60s now. He's supposed to be retired, but Japanese people continue to work because there's just not enough people for the jobs, right?
Hmm.
So I do landscaping and construction, and it kind of we do hotels, which are really easy jobs, and then we do like government contracts a lot of the time for like national parks, state parks, and the U.S. military base.
Mm-hmm.
Would go on base and cut grass or tree maintenance, or maybe they need cement poured somewhere or stuff like that.
And then is that like commission, like based off the job? Because that's how we did it at pool builders was commission, or is that like an hourly thing?
It's an hourly thing. I've
Okay. And then when you're
like a
doing
bonus
government,
like once or twice a year. But
okay.
yeah, it's
And when
really
you're doing
common
like
with Japanese companies.
when you're doing the government work, do you get like more money? Like, because I know here in the States we get prevailing wage if we're working on like government contracts.
I
Yeah,
wish, but no. It
yeah.
they bid on the contract and you get what you get.
It's like the
Yeah.
lowest bidder, though, I think.
Of
Like, it
course.
goes to the lowest bidder. So if somebody can do it for the cheapest work, they'll be like, all right.
Yeah, but something I don't know how true this is, but like whenever you do that with the U.S. government, you go just above the lowest bidder and you'll get it because they're kind of contracted or they're less inclined to take the lowest bidder. The U.S. government is, I guess, whenever we bid on stuff for them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Makes me just think like, oh, taxes, going to something like maybe they could have got that a little bit lower and then.
Yeah.
It's not your taxes, Mark.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
our taxes go to pay for the roads on base, though, before they pay for our roads, which I'm like, oh, that's so shitty.
Whoa. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either until I moved here and then was starting to pay taxes. And I got in this big discussion with a couple other people that work in that department, like for like city offices and stuff, and they were telling me about it. And I was like, oh, shit.
Huh.
Fuck me. Like, I'm way more pissed off now about paying taxes.
Is
Yeah.
what do they feel about it? Because in a way, the military there kind of boosts their economy if they go out a lot. You know what I mean? So like,
Well, yeah.
kind of maybe evens out. Maybe not. Because how often are they doing road construction on base? I mean, I don't know how big it is, but I mean, I couldn't imagine it.
I'll give you a reference. Okinawa, like the mainland of Okinawa, which has the bases on it.
All right.
We can fit inside of Rhode Island like 3 times. That's how small the island
God.
is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeepers.
And then the U.S. military base takes up about 35% of the island.
Ah.
So it's pretty damn big. It's because it's an air base. They have air base. They just have a ton of
Runways.
bases, actually. Yep.
I routinely forget how massive the United States is. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we're like, 16-hour drive. Yeah, whatever. I'll drive it. No big deal.
But
it's like, what? 16 hours?
Yeah.
You'd be in like, it's like France to Poland. It's like fucking Portugal to Poland. I don't even know. I'm not in Europe, but
I think it was like 17 hours for me and Seth to go to Florida.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
It was 22, like 24 for us to go from like Wisconsin to Utah, I think. Maybe it was 44 and we did. No, yeah, it was 28.
Yeah,
28.
If I go from tip to tip, I think it takes me 5 hours if I use like not the highway. I think the highway it'll be like 3.5. But if I use like yeah, I mean toll roads will be 3.5. But if I use like just the highway, I guess what I meant to say. Yeah, it'll be like 5.5 hours.
5.5 hours. I feel like that's a long time. The island.
Yeah, it's just long though. The island's long.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Do you know the mileage of like how long it actually is?
Not off the top of my head.
Well, that's why we have Google. How
big
is Okinawa?
Yeah, one thing I was just thinking about, like with military bases in other countries, is like,
oh wow,
how did what?
It's only 1,199 kilometers squared.
That's the
tiny
square footage of the island, though.
Mm-hmm. That's nothing.
It's pretty small, yeah.
Yeah. We make it work. We live on top of each other. So.
Yeah. What's the length, though?
The length? Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, then like miles. I was saying, 70 miles?
Yeah.
It's
70
only
miles
70 miles.
long. 70 miles long and then 7 miles wide.
What the fuck?
Having
How about,
an area of 463 square miles.
okay, so just for perspective, that takes you 5 hours. After we're done here, and I drive home, it's 190 miles. I get done in 2.5 hours.
That's why I said 5 hours. That's crazy. That's a
Yeah,
long.
that's if I go from tip to tip, and you gotta remember our roads, like
Yeah.
50 kilometers is
Yeah.
max speed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going like 90 miles an hour the whole way home, basically. So I get
That
it.
and your roads
Yeah.
are probably not. They're obviously no road is like this, especially on an island. But they're not like straight. So like you have to go over hills, down.
Yeah.
It's gonna take you a little time to go up. It's gonna take you a little time to go back down and go around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, all those variables, timing,
But no.
traffic lights,
Yeah.
traffic, shit like that.
Offshoots that don't have any kind of interstate, and you got to take like some bumpy ass road to get somewhere to the next main road.
I don't know. The roads, like, sometimes you'll find a bumpy ass road, but it's pretty rare here in Japan, on this island. If you go to mainland, like all those mountain roads, you find some really outrageous shit. But here, all the roads are really nice. I don't know why, but they just take a lot of. I mean, there's always like people out working construction. It seems like improving the roads and stuff.
Well, you got to think like for the tourism of Okinawa, it's like it's enough to kind of transcend the wear and tear on its infrastructure, I would think, compared to Japan.
Oh yeah, that's why we took a big hit with the whole COVID thing too.
Yeah.
Because we have a huge tourism industry. A lot of like, this is older people that want the base gone, and they argue that that we could be making more money off of tourism or using that land for other means like that instead of having it for the base as like making money off the military.
Yeah.
Speaking of bases, like how do new bases get made? Does some guy like from the U.S. military in like a black suit and blacked out shades just walk up to the government like, we're gonna take some land over here and put our troops on it to keep you safe?
I mean, that's basically it.
Yeah,
it's not a big
pretty
secret.
Close to it. Yeah, so you know how like if you're in Illinois has a lot of rights, and then the federal government has like very limited like jurisdiction what they can do in Illinois, right? The federal government can't come in and start bossing around the people so easily. Like the state does have power to protect Illinois residents from the government somewhat. Not on everything, okay, but I mean,
there's certain departments that can kind of just do whatever the fuck they want. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like U.S. Marshals.
Here in Japan, they don't have that at all. Yeah. The states have no power at all, like over the federal government. Like whatever the federal government says the states have to do. So that's why like we're having a base built in a place where nobody here on the island really wants it built, because it's there's a manatee habitat for like this certain manatee in the world that only lives there and stuff like that. So there's like protests going on all the time, and the Okinawan people cannot get them to move the base at all because mainland Japan handles all that. And they kind of, I hate to say this, but they kind of like, Okinawa's far away from mainland. We don't really care about those people. We can just push the base over there, and then we don't have to deal with the American government in our back door kind of thing.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Because you guys are pretty close to like Taiwan too. I was looking at the map the other day. I think you're actually closer to Taiwan than Japan.
Yeah. Well, Taiwan actually during World War II was part of Japan for quite a while. So it's pretty rare anymore, but you used to run into a lot of older Taiwanese people that spoke Japanese, as well as whatever they speak in Taiwan.
Thai? I don't know.
I know there's like discussion going on right now about a new base in Palau. Yeah, Palau. Well, Palau's asking for a new base, or like inviting the U.S. to come over there and set up shop to combat the Chinese influence that's going around in that area. If you don't know, Palau's just a little west. East. I'm sorry. Palau's just a little bit east of the Philippines.
Okay.
But I wonder if that's like, I know Palau is probably, it's a small island. I think their big thing is tourism,
Yeah.
and they I don't know, they only have like in the thousands of people. They don't have like millions of people or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of islands too. So I wonder what they're really trying to get out of this. Are they trying to bring in the U.S. and like boost their economy, and then still have their
Yeah.
freedom, and instead of bringing in China's military, which kind of, I don't know what that would be like actually for any
Well,
country
I
to have
mean,
them in.
I don't think anybody. I think a lot of people would probably prefer to have American military than Chinese military, because I just feel like Chinese military is going to try to control too much, whereas the American military is just going to come, be kind of stupid, spend a bunch of money, and then maybe trash a few hotel rooms,
Well,
keep
maybe. I
trans,
mean, I think the American military would invest a lot of money in there,
Oh,
more so than anywhere else. But at the same time, they we do have a base in Guam, which is pretty close to that area, and here in Okinawa. So that would kind of make a big triangle almost if you look at it on the map.
yeah.
And I think like would we benefit, or would they be benefiting more from us putting a base there?
I think it'd be
Where
more
did
them
you
than us, but
where did you see that they wanted a base in Palau?
I seen an article just a couple days ago where the Palau president was inviting the U.S. He had written to
Uh,
Congress people, I think, or international relations, something like that, along those lines, about bringing in the U.S. because he's really afraid of China's influence taking over the area.
yeah, China keeps pushing. It's no surprise there.
Yeah, and they're like right on that ocean dispute, like because they're right across from the Philippines. So the only thing separating them is the Philippines.
mm.
And
And
It's crazy, man.
isn't
It's crazy.
yeah,
isn't Guam like an American territory?
yeah,
Uh,
Guam's
uh,
an American
So I
territory,
feel like
but
it'd
Palau's like
make
its
more
own
sense for us
thing.
to just buff up Guam than put a whole new base in Palau.
Yeah, but Guam's so small. I
Yeah,
mean, would
true.
it, like, how much more could we build onto it? Because I think Okinawa is small, but I mean Guam is like, I think it takes 3 hours to do the whole circumference of the island.
Oh wow, that's small.
Yeah, it's even smaller. It's just so tiny.
I want to be on an island like that. I've never been on like a little piece of that small.
I want to be. I
I,
want to go
I
to Hawaii.
Dude, me too. Hey,
It
two
looks
years
fun.
from
I see a
now,
lot of
Gentlemen's Bureau
Okinawans that have.
live from Hawaii.
Yeah, there we go. That would be pretty cool.
Okay,
Mark will have
Uh,
the cheapest flight.
let's mark it down.
Japanese
Let's do
people
it.
go to fucking Hawaii all the time. You can get super cheap flights whenever the volcanoes are smoking.
Oh, sweet.
Like,
And we get to see a
I think
volcano erupt.
Oh, I finally finished that movie. I was watching Dante's Peak. Have you guys seen it?
I've heard of it, but I have not seen
No
it. I might have
surprise.
seen it a long time ago. Because
No
when you were telling
surprise.
us about it the other day, I think it sounded familiar. But
Yeah, well, I started like last week, and then every
Okay.
time I try to watch it, it just did
Wait a
not.
second.
I could not finish it.
Pretend,
But
I know this might be a stretch. Pretend I'm just straight up simpleton. I don't know anything. Can you explain what this movie is?
oh yeah,
I've-
so there's like this guy. He's a geologist for the United States, and so he visits this small town in like Colorado or Montana or some place like that. I don't know. It's a place that has a volcano right next to it, and
So Mountain Town, something like that.
yeah, and he basically there was some activity that someone wanted checked out or whatever, and he's like, okay, he gets sent down there. He checks out the area, checks out the volcano, and he's like telling them like, hey, you need to like get these people out of this town because this thing could erupt any second. Like after he did his tests and everything like that, he was like, whoa, this is not a safe place. Well, he was getting pushback from the town because some investor came in and was like, I'm gonna build up this town. I'm gonna create new jobs through my company that's coming here, and like the mayor and everything, and like the city council was like really like pushing back on this geologist
Mhm.
guy. They were like, no, like it's fine. We'll take our chances. If it blows, it fucking blows. And then
right, we need the jobs.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
sure enough, I mean, spoiler alert, but like, yeah, the volcano blows, and then they all freak out, and then yeah, basically they were like, oh, you were right, we were wrong, and
I'd be going around.
We should have
I'm fucking right.
listened.
yeah,
You
yeah,
guys.
and
I'm
that's
the
it.
one that was right. Suck a dick,
Yeah.
assholes.
Almost like my wife turned me on to the movie, and I was like, okay, and then I guessed to her, I was like, let me guess what happens. And I basically fucking laid out what would happen the rest of the movie. I was like, so if I finish this movie, this is what's gonna happen. The volcano's gonna erupt, he's gonna save the day, he's gonna evacuate the town. And she was like, you've seen this before, haven't you? I was like, no, it's just so predictable. Like, what the fuck? And but yeah, that just reminded me of that movie that
Yeah. I just looked up the like the movie and looked at like some of the pictures. It's got Pierce Brosnan in it, if you didn't know, Mark. And yeah, I definitely saw this like back in the day. I recognize the like the red truck that he drives around.
It's an old movie.
That. It's 97. Yeah, it's 97, man. But yeah, I definitely watched it. Yeah. My mom's always been a big Pierce Brosnan fan because of the like 007 movies and some of his earlier stuff. So
I'm surprised you've seen it, Jed, with all the lack of movies you've.
Well, there's also like a lot of movies that I've seen and kind of forget that I've seen because I've seen so many fucking movies.
That's true. That's true.
I always
forget the names of the movies.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's why I always go like look at pictures so I can get like that visual reminder of like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, me and Jed, I talked to him the other day. I said, hey, I found the movie online that you had suggested to us, Donnie Darko.
Yes.
I sent it to Jed, and me and Jed both watched it, and we were like, what the hell? How the fuck haven't we seen this before?
Dude, that's what. And I said the same thing years ago when I watched it. I watched this movie probably, dude, close to like 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And I was like, I was in high school, just trying to figure things out, trying to figure the world out. And that movie was just so mind blowing. I was like, oh, dude, this is fucking awesome. Even though it was so old, I was like, damn, that movie's awesome. And so that's
the old ones are the best.
Yeah, and definitely like I guess like who you watch it with too. When I watched it with my buddy Max, and there's just good times, man. Like sitting there, eating popcorn, watching Donnie Darko, chilling with your boy, like I don't know. It's just they're one of my favorite movies for sure.
Yeah, so
I'm not gonna lie though, the thing felt this rabbit shows up. I'm totally lost in the movie for a good chunk of the movie. I was like, I really don't know what's going on in this film. Like, this is ridiculous. It's just I had to take a minute where everything started like stacking up and making sense towards a little over halfway through the movie, where I started like understanding what was going on and like everything. I was like, I feel like smarter people would get this way before me. Like, am I just really dumb? Like, what's going on here?
It took me multiple viewings
to get the whole thing.
Yeah, I remember I watched it the first time and I walked away from it and I was like, I love that movie, but I have no fucking idea what the plot was really about. So I need to watch it again. And then like I waited a little bit and watched it again and I was like, got it. Because like there's just certain things and then like I find myself every time I watch it again and again and again, I'll catch more shit onto it. Like I think I've caught everything by now, but like it's just weird.
I just watched it the once and I felt like I really understood kind of what they were getting at, but like the whole time I was just like, wow, this like it hit it checked a lot of boxes for me with like portraying like into my like life, like the person with like authority problems that's like really smart, but they're just not like they're not quite sure how to process being smart in the society that they're in, and they kind of lash out, which is kind of like what he's doing in the beginning. Like he's got something going on up here, and he's just not sure how to like tell people about that and get the help he needs, and just like not wanting to take your meds because how they make you feel. Like I know friends that are like that, and then like it kind of seemed like he had paranoid schizophrenia a long time before we finally figured out like the time loop situation. And like I've had friends that have had to deal with that, and it's just like I don't know. It was really cool for me. I watched it alone, and like the whole time I was like very analytical, but I was also enjoying myself. But it was really cool. I really liked it. And then
Yeah.
the only thing that really like made me question it was like, I feel like he could have survived, but as you know,
If he did, then it would have been a whole nother.
yeah,
It would have been the scenario that we've seen if he survived, right? But if he
yeah,
didn't, since he didn't survive at the
Yeah.
end, spoiler, he dies. He dies at the
Spoiler,
end.
folks. If you haven't seen it, you had 19 years, or when did it come out? 2001.
something like that.
2001, yeah,
Yeah,
19
19 years to see it. Sorry. That's like Game of Thrones when people start talking about Game of Thrones, the
Yeah.
spoilers. It's like, shut the fuck up. You should have watched it better. But
Yeah.
anyways,
The thing
what were you saying?
about the whole like time travel thing is like, yeah, it's easy to say, well, I mean, he would have become, the murderer and she would have died and all this stuff would have happened if he tried to avoid the thing that killed him. But you got to remember, he did all that stuff before, not knowing that he was going to do it beforehand. Whereas now he has that foreknowledge of like, well, if I do this with her and we do this together, go to that place, she dies.
Yeah,
And
think
then
of
I
how
kill
many
somebody.
people he saved and
Yeah.
exposed. Like the
Yeah.
the Predator, the
Mhm.
fucking
Yeah.
the Tomo. Fucking what's his
Joe.
face?
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze.
I feel so bad that he took that
Yeah,
role
so he
as a
just-
Chomo.
Yeah, so he just got away with that technically because Donnie died and no one exposed him, so he just got away with it.
Well, but he shows remorse. He starts to cry. He wakes up in the night and cries. So it shows
True.
like because they
Yeah,
have
because
like this for
like a
this
time wave that kind of
Yeah.
ripples out, hitting they're like, wait a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Gretchen
Kinda
at the
cool.
end, like Gretchen's like, who is it? Oh, Donnie Darko, and like
Did you know
it
him?
shows the mom and her like looking at each other, and they just wave. It's just like
And then the little boy waves too. He's like, I'm just gonna be a part of it. I don't even know.
like wrong
my
scene,
thing.
Billy. Oh shit!
Get the fuck out of here.
Like,
Billy, say the line, leave.
yeah.
Amateur hour.
Damn. Did you guys? So you watched the movie, you liked it, right?
Yeah.
What movies do I need to watch that are kind of like that you guys have? Do you guys have any movies like that, or?
Well,
Because
like,
I love movies like that. I love hearing about shit that I haven't seen. Because like when I discovered that movie, I was like, dude, holy fuck, how did I miss out on this? Like,
so if I was gonna give you like one movie you needed to watch, I would have to say Wild America. But if you're looking for like more of like a mind fuck thriller type of movie, go with Ex Machina on Netflix. Because it gets into like the whole like AI, which is like a big topic and like going into the future of like technology. So like it's kind of like a really cool like not so distant future sci-fi thriller.
yeah,
And
I mean,
it's got Poe Dameron
every once in a while.
Yeah.
So probably nothing I haven't already thought of.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
this one's it's pretty good. It's really good. Really.
Dude, like Ted Kaczynski. I hate to like if you guys, if Mark, it looked like you wanted to say something about that or anything. No. Well, like Ted Kaczynski, you know who Ted Kaczynski is, right? The Unabomber.
Yeah.
That was his whole like thing was that like he had the foreshadowing like this is how it's gonna be. Technology's advancing to the point where it's gonna take over. Yada yada yada. That's why he targeted universities and airlines and shit. Like it's specifically the technology departments and shit.
Yeah.
He like targeted that stuff, and he actually was a part of the Harvard LSD studies. He was actually like, part of that.
Interesting.
I didn't know that.
Fucking Ted Kaczynski.
Layne, I know you were there, but Mark, you might have been. Do you guys remember when Don Beebe came to Bureau Valley and gave us like it was like everybody in the auditorium and talk to this guy?
Who the
he was
fuck?
Like an old football dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
I remember.
all I remember is
he had like a couple rings, right?
I don't know, something like that.
Something like that.
And so all I remember about that whole like talk is that I'm sitting next to Austin, Air Force, Jack dude, and he's wearing a gray hoodie with the hood up, and he like raises his hand for a question, and Don was like, "Yeah, let's go with the Unabomber looking dude," and I just laughed my fucking ass off, dude. It was so He just like called him a Unabomber. Like we're in a school, bro. Don, you can't be like this.
Jesus
If he was
Christ.
wearing, if he was wearing these glasses, definitely.
100%. I mean, he's a big dude. He's jacked up.
Yeah.
He was big then. He's even bigger now.
But yeah, he's the opposite though. He's all about the tech stuff, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's into it.
Good guy though.
Quality gentleman. Quality guy.
Yeah.
Don't arm wrestle him.
You guys ever think about like you guys ever think about like who was on roids in like high school? Because like, dude, I think about
heard
that
about some people that were on roids, like that had gotten busted on roids.
Oh,
and I was
really?
like, why?
Damn.
It's like you're doing
that
doesn't require like whole bunch of muscles and whatnot. But I guess like it can improve more than just that.
Isn't it it enhances like cognitive function too, right? Or no? It gives you a lot of energy too, but like clearly I feel like that goes hand in hand with like cognitive function, because if you have a lot of energy, your brain's more active, shit like that.
Yeah, the person I found out was on roids was a bit younger than me, and I just couldn't. I was like, if he wasn't on roids, how small would he be? Like, that's what I thought.
Was he already small then? He wasn't any big.
He was a smaller person. He wasn't like on the roids. He still wasn't jacked. So I was like, this is weird. Like, why would you be doing that?
Yeah, wasn't putting gain like effort enough. He was just like, I'll just take the roids and I'll get big. Like, nah, dude, you gotta take the roids and then you gotta work out a lot and then you get big.
Well, I mean, his whole thing was running, so that's all. That's all I'm gonna say on that one.
Cross country, huh? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna narrow this down.
It kind of narrows it down. Couple grades younger, you said, huh? Couple grades younger.
Sorry, whoever's listening. I didn't mean
you
to
know
out
who
you,
you are. Your sins will be judged.
So what the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Some hell shit right there. Some demon shit.
Yeah, you'll be judged at the gates of hell.
Whatever.
Hey, speaking of, go ahead.
Yeah, I did find there were some people we didn't go to school with, but I went to college with them, and they had taken roids to get into like college sports, and it was like
makes sense.
lifting like almost 6 hours a day on top of everything else, and it was just, I was like, couldn't you have just applied yourself, you think, with those 6 hours a day anyways, and not done the roids? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, at some point, like, is it worth it?
Well, like Rich Piana, you guys know who Rich Piana is?
No.
He's like this huge. Anyways, he passed away. He was this huge bodybuilder. He made like the analogy of like, this is the way he looked at it. He was like, if I go to the races and I see two cars lined up, like a drag race, and there's two cars, and they go down the track, and one car, it smokes the other one, just completely, like no competition at all. He's like, I want to know he's like, I don't give a fuck what the fuck that car, like if that car's got a supercharger or whatever, if the other car doesn't have a supercharger, okay, that's cool. Now we know why. Like why the other car won. He's like, I don't give a fuck how the other car won. He's like, but the other car won. So he's like what does it fucking matter as long as like, I mean, as long as it's like, I guess not in a competition type of thing like that. So I guess in like the Olympics that would kind of matter, or like like a competitive thing like that, like strongman, whatever the fuck. But like, he's like, as long as you're doing it for physique, or if you're doing it for like you're non-competing or whatever, he's like, what does it fucking matter? He's like, you're smoking everybody else. He's like, who cares? Just because you don't have a supercharger doesn't mean you got to knock everybody who's got a supercharger and they're kicking your ass. Like,
right.
I was like, good point. I mean, it's not hurting anybody. You hurt anybody, you're hurting yourself, basically.
Yeah, I looked up a picture of him. That dude is ridiculously jacked.
Yeah.
You couldn't achieve that without steroids.
Oh, yeah, Jed, look up Rich Piana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude's got the biggest non-synthol arms I've ever seen. Like,
It's it's crazy. He actually
I
has
typed in
some
was
pretty
rich
decent
and it
heat
just
for.
popped up.
yeah,
Oh
Google's
yeah.
listening. You got the Google thing. You got the government tracking device in your room, so
Yeah.
it's listening to the whole podcast. It knows
Oh
what you
yeah,
want.
I have seen this guy before, dude. He looks like what Prison Ripped wants to be, you know?
Jesus Christ.
But like they never get this far because they fucking quit. But this guy's got the dedication. Oh my god, dude, this guy is fucking massive.
Dude.
He looks like a bulldog in human form, bro.
Crazy. Dude.
He died. I
But, like,
think he died. He died like 2 years ago, choking
At a
on
certain
food or
point,
something.
though,
Hold on.
What?
at a certain point, though,
Died.
like, where's
Hold on.
death?
Look this up real quick here.
He died choking on food?
He died
Jesus
like
Christ.
choking or something. Hold on.
Bro, he choked.
What?
Terrible.
Death
Let's see,
cause.
6'1", born in 70. He was in Generation Iron 2.
Yeah.
After spending 2 weeks in an induced coma to try and reduce swelling to the brain, Piana died on August 25th, 2017, at the age of 46. An autopsy revealed significant heart disease and that his heart and liver weighed over twice the average amount for an adult male.
Huh.
Considering that it's liver, I would have to imagine it had to be something with, maybe he was taking supplements of some kind.
So his wife was giving him a haircut while he fucking died, and he fell.
Oh.
He fell and hit his head, like bumped his head and fucking died. And that's what put him into the coma. But they say that he was already gone before.
Yeah.
He hit the ground.
Yeah, because your brain can be gone, but like the base functions are still kind of operating,
Yeah.
But the consciousness is gone. That happens.
Where did I read that he was choking? Since he was found with food scattered all around him and his esophagus, it was believed that he died of choking. Okay.
Okay. So he couldn't get his airway through.
I
Fell,
think so.
hit his head.
I don't fucking know, dude. This is the internet, and there's all sorts of bullshit here.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
you can't trust shit.
You know those big jack guys, a lot of the time they'll have trouble breathing because your throat doesn't get any wider, and all that muscle around it will like actually make the airways more narrow and everything.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a big thing they talk about in like powerlifting guys, because they get those huge shoulders and fucking huge upper body, and then their neck kind of blends in with their chest.
No shit.
Yeah. It just become kind of like straight shoulders up to head,
The mountain, right?
Oh, dude.
Dude, yeah.
Huge, dude.
That guy's
Have you seen him next to his wife?
Crazy. She's itty bitty. I mean, like, I don't even know if she's tiny or like if she's just regular and he's just so fucking big. Because like, what if she's like my height? I'm just like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
He's like a fucking giant, like a real Nephilim giant.
It's those Icelandic people. They're huge.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So she is 5'2", which honestly isn't that uncommonly short.
It's short, but
when you compare it to him,
isn't he 7?
5'2" versus 6'9".
It looks crazy. Yeah, it looks crazy.
He's such a big guy that I would classify her as petite. She has a small frame.
Dude, if I was tall, like if I was like above 6'2", I would just fucking work out all day, every day, and just get as huge as him. Like, why the fuck wouldn't you? Because like, who the fuck would mess with you? Like, you already have.
I don't think I'd go that big.
No, dude, you already have. What do you mean you wouldn't go that big?
He's like bodybuilder level, like competition big. I wouldn't go that big. I wouldn't. The strain on your knees and stuff and your other joints to get that big would be too much for me because I'm not going to try to do those competitions. But I would definitely like put on some muscle so I like at least. You don't want to be like that gangly tall person. You want to be like you want to look normal, but just big.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to
be like you don't want to be 6'3" and then spaghetti arms all the way down.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I would get to the point where like you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I would not fuck with me.
I wouldn't fuck with me.
Like
Well, at the same time though, you gotta think of how many of those like 5 foot guys. They're short as
Okay,
hell, but you're just like, I wouldn't fuck with that guy. He's crazy. He has a tattoo on his face that says "killer." Like, fuck that. Maybe that's all you need.
those are the biggest pussies. Those guys.
Uh,
If you have to put
I don't
killer
know.
on your face, that's like, all right, bro, you're compensating. Like you can't do shit. All right, unless you
It
have
was-
MS-13 next to your fucking next to it. Then
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
That dude's done some shit.
all right. Yeah, okay.
People have asked me like, cause I get tattoos, cause like I do tattoos and I have tattoos. Like, would you ever get a tattoo on your face? And I always say like, probably not. Like 99 times out of 100, probably not. But if I was gonna get a tattoo on my face, it would have to be something like either really small that I could like hide under my beard, or like in the side of my head or something, or it would have to be my entire face.
Or those are your options.
Those are your
Yeah.
options. What do
If
you,
you,
Or
I,
the whole
I would either
face.
go, I would either go
All or
very
nothing.
discreet. I would either go very discreet, or like all of it. But like if I was gonna do my face, I'd probably do like, I don't know, like a whole skull or a
You've heard it
photorealistic
here, everybody.
tattoo.
Jed's gonna do blackface.
No,
You've
we're
heard
not.
it here.
No,
Fucking
no,
God damn it.
nope, not gonna happen. But I would do like a sculpt, like where it is, or I do photorealistic picture of my face, but a little bit to the left.
What the fuck?
And then I would go to like 3D movie theaters and just be like, "Hey man, how was the movie?"
You're stupid as fuck.
Just imagine they come out like,
Dorky.
"I'm not wearing the glasses, man. I'm not wearing the glasses."
What's going on here?
Have
No,
you seen
that's
the
ridiculous.
movie? Oh, what's that movie called? Oh, fuck. Glenn Manley.
Yeah, I have seen that one.
Glenn Manley, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the movie title, and he introduced me to it. I think it's called like They See or something, or they. What the hell's the movie called? It's like, okay,
Alright.
so the guy, I'll tell you the plot. It's an old movie. This guy, he runs into this. Basically, like the FBI is raiding a bunch of warehouses, and like this guy just so happens to be next to one or something. I'm totally fucking this whole plot up, but anyways, he finds these glasses, and he like puts them on, and he like everywhere he looks, he'll see normal people, but then he'll see like people aliens disguised as people, and then he'll see
This is with Roddy Piper, isn't it?
I think so. He's kind
And
of
he says that line like, "I came here to do two things: kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum."
Yeah. I think
haven't
that's
This
seen
has
it.
to be a
It's
really
called
old
Among Us.
movie. Holy
And he
shit.
fights
Among Us.
Among Us. Yeah,
Or
that's
like-
what it is. They're Among
Yeah,
Us.
Among Us. And Among Us.
They
They are old. They're old.
No, They Live. Isn't it?
They live.
Let me see.
But yeah.
Anyways,
I remember,
They Live.
yeah.
It's They Live. And basically he like when he puts the glasses on, he's like he'll look at like a billboard and it'll say buy, like BUY, and then he'll look at like a sexy lady picture poster thing and it'll say like reproduce. Like
Yep.
it's basically like the message translated the way that it's supposed to be portrayed.
The subliminal.
Yeah. It's like,
I see.
yeah, and it's super
That's
weird. It's like the whole government is like run by aliens and they're like controlling you through the
The
shit.
lizard.
And, like the glasses show you like what basically
Reality is.
truth. Yeah, like
The
what
truth.
reality is. And that's kind of fucking weird, dude, because like if you think about it, hey man, who knows? They may live. They may live. But
But if we really think about it, we could see through those things too. So
what?
I'm saying if we really think about it, we could see through those advertisements and like
Oh, yeah,
messages
yeah.
that everybody's sending out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
nobody
just
gives a
easier.
fuck. Nobody
Yeah,
gives a fuck.
exactly.
They want that. Like, oh yeah, sexy lady, I'm gonna fuck. Like shit like that. Like
Oh yeah, they don't just advertise uh, Calvin Klein with just the bottle of cologne or the jeans by themselves. No, they advertise it with fucking some really good looking dude. I don't
Yeah.
know, Antonio Banderas, has the Calvin Klein on, and he's got the cologne. He sprays it, and is they don't just they show him in like the best lighting. He looks rugged, but he looks clean. Like all these things, like
Yeah.
what a woman, you know, quotes what a woman would want. Uh,
It's
and
it's
then
too
and
cold.
then they show him with a very sexy lady, maybe a little Latin, keep it exotic.
Yeah.
And like, oh, you use this
You saw
cologne, you'll get this kind of idea is like portrayed through the advertisements. And if we really think about it, like we can understand that, but it sounds like these glasses like throw it right in your face. You don't have to think about it.
Oh, the glasses literally spell it out.
Yeah.
They literally spell it out.
So with those ads, it's literally twofold because like women that watch that, well, heterosexual women that watch that, will be like, oh, this is like, oh yeah, there's, they'll be like super general about like rugged, working hard, like some shit like they'll make it so like the male model and like the male that they're describing that would wear this would be something that a woman would want, and that kind of feeds in through like ages of like that is what women want. Like the women start believing that that's what they want instead of like really thinking for themselves. And then it also hits the guy and like, hey, this is what women want. You need to be like this. Or if you think you're like this, you need to have this. Otherwise, you won't be like this. And it's like we're getting brainwashed. And too many people are like, and they don't care.
Program.
They don't accept it.
Yep. Yeah, you just gotta turn your phone off.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta live out with a couple of dogs and be happy. That's all you need.
Yeah. Yeah, man. If you haven't seen that movie, you should watch it for sure. It's
I've
good.
seen a bunch of, but like I haven't seen the whole thing. But yeah.
Yeah. I like at the end, like I think it's the end. They like finally break into the news station, and they see like all of the aliens in there, like just the whole like
all the
CNN basically.
The media sucks.
It's like Jesus Christ. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's such a good movie though too.
There's a lot of good movies. Mark, you didn't put your 2 cents in for like a good movie to watch that maybe Layne hasn't seen.
I honestly, this has nothing to do with anything, but it's a good movie because Layne really likes playing guitar and music and stuff. There's this Japanese movie. I don't know if it has English subtitles just yet, but it's called Too Young to Die, and it has music throughout it. It's all metal and rock and roll themed and everything. It's pretty cool. And I'll tell you, like, the basic plot is this kid, he dies, and he goes to hell. But hell's like fucking badass, and he's like trying to work his way back to like real life, and it kind of shows that whole thing. And then at the end, it's not what you think, kind of thing. So it's pretty cool. There's like different. It goes off a lot of like Japanese beliefs of like what hell is, so like different layers of punishment of what hell is and stuff, and like what the idea of heaven would be and stuff like that.
Interesting.
But if you don't like the whole Japanese aspect, the music through it is just fucking awesome because they had a lot of like really big rock stars come in and like help write the music. Like the original bass player for Megadeth helped write a ton of the music. Whenever he left Megadeth and he came to Japan because he likes Japanese rock and roll apparently, because he thinks that it's like way better for some odd reason, more pure to itself. He just wrote a ton of music in that movie. It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. One of my favorite, I have two really good, like, maybe three. I have three really good, like, music-related movies. Number one's Drumline, just like, kind of like a good intro to, like, music movies. Second one would be Whiplash, which is also, like, drum-based, but that one's got,
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
The dude, like, the bald dude from, like, NCIS or whatever, I can't remember what else he's in, and
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Oh, what's his name? The fucking dude that does like he's actually like the kid that drums. Fuck. I used to know his name.
Yeah, my
Have
buddy
you seen
Watts
that
would
movie?
fucking
Really,
he'd
really good
fucking
movie.
laugh at you. He hates that movie, and he's an actual drummer. He's like a percussionist. He's
Oh
like,
yeah.
I asked him because I watched the
Okay.
movie. I was like, huh, all right. Like he's just training the fuck out of this kid. Like he's pretty much whipping him. And I was like, what'd you think of that movie, dude? He's like, it's stupid. He's like, it's fucking stupid. I was like, all right. He's like, that would
Well,
never fucking fly. He's like, I don't know.
I live in a better world where that is a cool movie. So fun.
Right. And then the third one was like August Rain or something like that. But it's about this like really little kid that's like a prodigy, and like people are trying to like, I don't know, it's weird. I can't remember the exact plot, but it's got some feels and it's got some good music. Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention, Mark, when you're talking about that big movie that kind of goes through like hell and the different stages of hell and like heaven and all that stuff, was The Gates of Hell, which is something I was talking to my buddies about the other day. Have you guys heard about the Gates of Hell, like the actual physical location on Earth called the Gates of Hell? So there's this place. It's really cool. You'll have to look this up sometime. There's this place right outside of Darvaza, Turkmenistan. And in 1971, Soviets were kind of in control of the area, and they were drilling for oil.
Oh, I've heard about this.
They hit a natural gas pocket that then collapsed, took the whole drilling rig with it, just buried it. But because they popped this pocket, it's been leaking methane gas, right? So they got this big ass, like 230 foot across hole in the ground, just leaking methane gas in the atmosphere. So the Soviet guys were like, well, this is not very good. We have to do something about this. So you know what they did? They're like, you know what? Let's light it on fire and it'll burn off in like a week. Well, that was 1971. Shit is still on fire.
Jesus Christ.
So in Turkmenistan, there's a 230 foot wide hole in the ground that's just on fire all the time. Always.
Wow.
Yeah.
What year was this?
It's called that was 1971 that they found the hole, had the drill fall in, lit it on fire to burn off in a week. Yeah. And it's still on fire.
Lord.
Wow.
It's hilarious.
Crazy.
I think it's really crazy. But like it also accounts for like over half of Turkmenistan's tourism. And I'm like, like not to get all conspiracy
Let's all go
theory,
look at a big old hole of fire, everybody.
right? I mean, hey, it's kind of cool. And like, not to like feed any conspiracies or anything, but what if they did it on purpose?
Conspiracy time.
What if they did it on purpose to boost the tourism,
Yeah.
What if it's all some big like, hey, let's make a hole in the natural gas and we'll light it on fire and say it was an accident. Oh, we'll call it the Gates of Hell and people will come look at it from all over the world. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know, but maybe.
I mean, I think they're just making use of they're like,
yeah,
we have a bad situation here. What can we do? They're like, we could profit off of it. They're like, I like that idea.
Yeah, because otherwise they're like a really closed off country, right? Turkmenistan's ruthless
it's kind of in
dictatorship
in the
or something.
Mess.
Yeah.
It's not
like we had a shitty economy and now we have a fucking burning hole in the ground. It's like, what can we do to remedy this? Tourists.
But here's a cool thing about it is, so spiders all over Turkmenistan will crawl toward the Gates of Hell because they can like sense the heat and see the light from it, and then they'll get to the edge and just jump in. And they're just going home, It's like, I must go. My people need me. And I'm like, sweet.
Jesus
this place
Christ.
hole is just killing spiders.
Just tons of spiders like crawling towards the hole, like whenever you're out there or something.
No, like you would.
Time,
it's not like waves and waves of spiders all the time, but like apparently like people see spiders just like walk to the edge and then jump in, and like
spiders don't like light though. They hate the light.
But they're
That's weird.
I don't know. Just something I read.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense to do.
But yeah, I think this place has been open. This hole has been burning for 39 years. God, yeah, 39 years. It's crazy. But that reminds me of fire. You guys have heard of like the crazy wildfires going over in like the West Coast, right? Like 4,700 acres, 43,000 acres, something like that. Like a lot of land is on fire in California,
Like,
Oregon.
when the fuck is California ever not on fire? Like, I feel like every time there's news about California, it's just
It's
like
on fire.
people's land burning. It's like the fuck.
But yeah, apparently some pyrotechnic for a gender reveal set off a fire. And
yeah, saw that.
yeah, like what's crazy is like the entire like atmosphere has changed right now with all the smoke and stuff. It's just orange, like it looks like something out of fucking Zombies, man. It's like just smoky, foggy, and red and orangey all over the place.
I'll pull up a
Streetlights
picture
are still on
for sure.
in the middle of the day. It's ridiculous. Like the hillsides are just like, I think they said the fire was moving at like 1,000 acres an hour because there was also like 45-mile-an-hour winds coming like all the way from like the East Coast with the hurricanes there that are getting closer and closer and like just pushing wind. So yeah, it was like quick.
How is it just taking out so much? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I think there's like 7 confirmed dead right now, but I mean, with the rescue teams so like trying to stop it, they haven't really had the time to like get behind it and check all the.
That's
well,
crazy.
confirmed now, and you gotta remember, like they haven't been able to check all of the area that's been devastated by this yet because they're still trying to get ahead of it to stop it. Mm-hmm. Afterwards, when they go back and they're like, well, like home to home, who's here, who's not here, crap. A lot of more people died. And they're like, we'll get a more accurate count once the fire's out, but for right now, like we just need to stop it.
It's kind of crazy, man.
Yeah.
This
started over a gender reveal? Is that what you said?
Yeah, somebody.
Dude, imagine being that fucking kid. Like,
dude.
Yeah, you're the reason there's a fucking. The fire of 2020.
Yeah, it was me.
Like, fucking imagine being that kid.
Didn't know how to man
actually
a goddamn rocket. Fucked everything up.
It's actually it's very similar to a gender reveal from 2 years ago that did like the exact same thing, but I guess it was a little bit more moist over in California then. There wasn't like crazy high winds, so it only burned like 2,000 acres, whereas this one burned that in like a couple hours. Yeah, so this one's a lot bigger, but it's pretty much the exact same thing that happened 2 years ago.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Which makes me wonder, somebody didn't know their history.
Well, yeah, it doesn't rain there, right? Like that's the big
that's
appeal.
The thing
about
is like there's a lot of vegetation,
California.
Not a lot of rain, and usually high winds. So like California is just a recipe for wildfires.
Yeah.
And they're saying now that climate change is making it worse because it's drying it out more. But also like it's becoming more sporadic. Like the rain's becoming more sporadic. Like harder to guess. So like it'll rain, but then it'll be drier longer, but then it'll like have a heavier rain. So like the vegetation is still getting the water it needs, but it's also drier for more time out of the year, which just more vegetation, not as wet. So yeah, it's a recipe for wildfires. It's ridiculous. Whole East Coast.
Yeah. Dude, I set my yard on fire one time. I was like burning trash. Yeah, dude. It was a long time ago. I was out. Well, you know where I used to live. And I was burning trash out there. Must have been a windy day or something. I don't know. I went inside and like for some reason, dude, I went outside. I was like, I'm gonna go outside. And I checked on it and it was like the fucking yard was in flames. And I was like, oh my fucking God, dude. And I was like, because I went to go burn trash and like I didn't think anything of it because we have a fire ring. But it must have been windy and it caught. And I was like, fuck, dude. And I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? The yard's fucking burnt. Like, and then it was like it started to get scary because it was moving towards my garage, and then it was moving towards the propane, the huge propane tank, and I was like, oh my God, dude. So
God. Oh no.
Yeah. Called the fucking ambulance, and they showed up like right as I put the fire out myself. I was like, oh, thanks a lot, guys. Like, fuck. And basically all I did was I took my garden hose and I fucking ran it out there and I like sprayed a huge like water line to like make a barricade so the flames would not hit the propane tank. So I just made a line in between. I was like, fuck it. And then yeah, and then I forget like what happened with the other side of it, Like I think the other side was just like burned out to the gravel road, but like it's huge. I don't know. I put it out, and
How'd
then
you
like the
explain
fire
that one away?
I was like, dude, I fucked up. They're like, yeah, you fucked up. No more burning trash. Like that's not a chore. So I got out of a chore, so that was cool. But like, yeah, definitely fucked up on that one. And like the fire guys were super cool. They were like, yeah, we didn't even waste a drop, so you're good. And they just took off. They're like, looks like you got it covered. I was like, yeah, dude, thanks.
Thanks. Next response
Fuck.
time. Well,
I
but
just
yeah,
put
they
that.
burn those prairies between like your road and the main road right there all the time too. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, for sure.
'cause, you
Yeah,
know, prairies.
yeah. I remember, you know how they burn ditches, right? Like out in the
Yeah.
countryside and everything. Remember
Yeah.
my old man was two farmers were burning their ditches on both sides of the goddamn road, and my dad's driving through that fucking thing. And I don't know why, but it just happened to be way worse than usual. He's like, everything's up. Like there's so much like white smoke in the air. You think somebody's house is on fire. It's ridiculous, right? He's driving through it, and he said, "Yeah, just driving along. I don't know what hit, but something caught on fire in the back of his truck." He's like, "Holy shit!" It was like ended up being like grass seed. So he's a little buzzed, anyways, because he's drunk and he's got fucking he's got grass seed burning in the back of his truck. He's freaking out. He swerved over the like all over the road because he's a little fucked up. He's like, what am I gonna do? He just whips. He takes the whole bag of grass seed in flames. He whips it through the air. I guess this is what he's telling me. He whips it through the air like a. I was like, yeah, you just whipped a 50-pound bag of grass seed just through the air, whatever. Fucking Hercules.
Hercules.
Fucking throws that thing, and he said the thing opened in the air, and there's just a huge fucking flame just flying everywhere. It starts catching the field on fire that's next to it. He's like, I fucking got out of there. I didn't want to be a part of anything that was going on. I was too fucked up. And he's like, man, you should drive back there and see if everything's okay. I was like, no, I'm not going to fucking check on that.
Like, drive back there, man. I fucked up.
I fucked up. I don't want to be around if anybody questions me. I'm fucking drunk. It's like, I'm not going back there for your ass. Fuck that. Just
yeah, fuck.
We don't know what happened. Just fucking nobody's gonna track your grass seed, Dad.
You got like the FBI out there, they're like, grass seed. Let's go take this back to the lab and analyze it and see where it came from. How many people produce this type of grass seed around here?
Yeah, it was probably fucking pioneer.
It falls slightly to the left. The wind. I think it's been in a barn for at least a year. Yeah. We'll get this to the lab.
Yeah.
Motherfucker's going down.
Motherfucker's going down.
Guys in suits roll up to your house, yell fucking aviators. We're looking for one Mark Rowe, and you're just like, I'm Mark Rowe.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember having this grass seed? They're holding the bag.
It's all burnt to
no.
shit. Yeah.
I've never seen it before in my life. Sorry.
Oh no, he's talking about bushland.
I don't even use grass seed.
Yep. See this yard? All weeds. All weeds. No grass at all. Looks like shit. Fuck my kids. Fucking. It tore it up.
Right.
Fucking fires, dude. California fires, man.
Dude, it's fucking crazy. I saw one picture. It was like the Golden Gate Bridge, and like behind it, the entire hillside was just fucking on fire. And I'm like, oh shit.
Dude,
Fuck.
California is just going to shit. It's going to hell, really. Like, dude, like I remember, like it was maybe high school. I was like, dude, I'd love to get out to California, grow some weed, chill. Like, I don't know. It's just like California looks so fucking cool. Now that I'm fucking older,
right?
I don't know. I don't even know if like it would still change my mind had like the current situation that's there. Like, I don't know if I would still want to go back in high school, but like, I don't know, dude. Because like they passed this law. It was like SB 145 for child predators. Like, well, I said, okay, not child predators, pedophiles, basically.
Yeah.
So, like, it basically gave the judges a little bit, well, it gave less of a penalty to, like, people who were caught, like, in the act of, like, being a chomo, fucking child molester. Like,
Yeah.
basically, they could, like, get away with it. Like, the judge could be like, okay, it's within 10 years gap time, with, like, the minimum age being 14 and up,
Ugh.
I guess. So it's like, yeah, dude. So, like, if you're, like, 24, you could fuck a 14-year-old, and then judge would be determined, like, whether you would register as a sex offender. Like, I think you would still do the crime, like, or you'd still do the time for your crime, but, like, it's like, would you register as a sex offender? That's what's left up to the judge.
Well, what about, would they like have the 14-year-old come in and be like, did he force you to do this, or like, were you a part of this?
Sure. I'm sure, and
Yeah.
that would tie in with, like, the judge's decision. It's like,
Yeah.
was it consensual and shit? But it's still, that's fucked. That's a 20.
That's
That's
so
24.
so
That's
fucked.
me. That's me fucking a 14-year-old
Yeah, no.
and getting away with it because the judge
Disgusting.
was like, well, the 14-year-old said it was all right. Fuck it.
That's so fucked.
I'll
So
Well,
fucked.
yeah, and think about how many of those predators groom those kids, so they would think that we're doing
Yeah.
something that's okay. So then what? By
Yeah.
that time it comes out. Yeah, that's so fucked, man.
California, dude.
It's like, as fucked as that is, like, I've heard so many horror stories about guys that were like 18 years old, and they like just started talking to this girl, and they're like, yeah, I'm 17, and then come to find out they're only like 15 or 16, and then like this
Yeah.
literally happened to a guy I know. Okay, he was talking to this girl when he was 17, and she said she was 16, so he turns 18, and then she turns 16. Because she was 15 when she told him she was 16. And then they're going fine. Everything's consensual. No problems. But then her parents found out, and she suddenly just flipped. Because she was so, like, frightened about what her parents were going to do to her that she was like, it's definitely consensual. But then when it came down to, like, tell her parents it, she's like, yeah, he's forcing me into it. But luckily for the guy, he had all the chat logs of her, like, being just as,
Oh, yeah.
let's do this, as him. And it was like,
Yeah,
fucking
but
women.
I'll tell you this.
People, man. Some people.
Yeah,
Fuck.
okay. I'll tell you this though. Like, I see it now as I'm older, and I definitely could have seen that whenever I was younger though. I'm gonna figure out how old somebody is, definitely. Like, for sure. I'm not gonna let them just tell me. Like, I'm gonna get hard evidence of their age, because I'm not gonna go out there. Like, yeah, I'll invite me to your fucking birthday, or I'll be like, oh yeah, your daughter is how old again? Like, not asking, but like figure it out from the parents. Like, don't just leave it up to somebody's word, because you see way too many people getting fucked over by that, right?
Yeah,
like,
she said she was 18.
Yeah, like,
come on, man. I thought this was America. She said she was 18.
that's one thing that I was talking to my bosses about this last night. We were just, I don't know, we were just guys about to clock out for the day. We were talking about, things guys talk about: cars, video games, girls. And I was like, that's the nice thing about Amazon. They're like, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, you have to be 18 to work here. You have to be to work at Amazon. And I'm like, that's
why? Because you handle adult toys or something?
No, I think it's just like something with like their labor laws or whatever. It's like easier for their insurance or something. I don't know, but like they require you to be 18 to work there, and I'm like, that's just a little load off my mind,
Yeah.
Dude,
What's weird? Like, if this law was minimum age, I'm gonna say 16, and you guys are gonna be like, "Oh, you're a fucking weirdo."
No,
Now, hear me out.
Yeah.
16 minimum age. If I wouldn't have such a problem with this law if it was 16, because if a guy, let's say it was grandfathered in. So I'm dating, let's say I'm 17 years old, coming up on my 18th birthday. I'm dating 16-year-old, okay? I turn 18, she's still 16. It's like, but he was just 17. He was just 17 and she was 16. It's like, he was just 17. She was 16.
And you got to think too, like they're
Great.
probably,
Only
in
2
school
years.
together. They're in school together. They're all always around each other. Like, it's
Yeah.
different when it's like a 16-year-old and a 22-year-old who's in college. Like that's totally different.
Yeah, like I think like maybe a 2-year gap on the thing would be suitable. Like if there was no law, because this law says it's a 10-year gap. That's fucked up. A
14 and
24-year-old.
24.
Yeah. So like if it was a 2-year gap, like if they were just worried about like 16 and 18-year-olds or whatever, like okay. Okay. But like if it was a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old, like no way. Nah. Come on. Like I think like the minimum like 16 or whatever, because like you see like kids are fucking already at 16. Like there was literally a show on MTV like 16 and pregnant.
16 and pregnant, yeah.
Yeah, like what? Like okay, so like if they're fucking like, it's like why are you gonna ruin someone's life? That's like okay, he just turned to an adult. Like why are you gonna fuck over some? Because I don't know personally a lot of guys that have gotten like fucked over on that stipulation, but like I know of people who do know people, and like they're like, yeah, dude, she had to register as a sex offender and shit because
it ruined somebody's life.
And it's like, dude, are you fucking serious? And like with this law, it gives the judge's discretion whether he should, register or not. I agree with that. If, like I just said, the 16 and 18 2-year law type of deal. Yeah. If it was like that, I'd be like, all right, cool, not a problem.
Maybe that's what we'll see more of, though. Maybe that's what they're getting at. Like judges will make that decision. It won't be so black and white that the judge will work in the gray zone now a little bit.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's what they were. That's not even.
Yeah, maybe it just sounds
that can't be what they were going for. Because if they were lowering it to 14, man, California's fucked, dude. That's just fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One thing.
While we're on the age thing, though, I would tell you about Japan. Okay, so you have to be 18 as a male to get married, and you have to be. And for the longest time, like right after the war, I want to say it's still been like 16 to get married for a female. They just recently raised that to 18.
Were there a lot of 16-year-olds getting married, females?
Yeah. I mean, it's not too uncommon to see like younger women getting married to older men, especially like men that have money. In this country, you see that quite a bit. Just the other day, I was watching TV and there was this girl on. God, she had a list of problems, but
don't they all?
That's a story. Oh my God. She had like a very severe case of body dysmorphia, so she was getting like tons of plastic surgery constantly. But yeah, that was so weird. And Japan was like, "Oh, it's at least you look the way you do, like the way you want to look now. That's great." And I was like, "Jesus Christ, don't encourage that. That's a bad thing. Like that's a really bad condition."
Some Beverly Hills shit.
Yeah. Well, she was 16 and she had a 21-year-old boyfriend, and nobody bat an eye at that though. Like nobody cared about that here in Japan. They were like, yeah. Or like, yeah, they were totally cool with that. It was like what?
If you look back in the day, I mean that was common, 16-year-olds and like, I mean like because you're like developed at that age in a way to where it's like it's time to mate. You know what I mean? Like as a homosapiens, like it's what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, that stigma in Japan isn't so harsh, I guess. Yeah. As it is.
One thing. Yeah, what I just remembered with the whole like 16 and pregnant thing, I remember like as a class in high school, we were so proud of ourselves that we didn't have anybody like have to leave school for 6 months because they got pregnant. Like we had a couple like, they were pregnant at the end of senior year, but they didn't have to like leave for maternity leave during school, and we were like, sweet, we made it through without a what?
Who was that?
That like was pregnant at the end of senior year?
Yeah, I don't remember anybody.
I don't want to call anybody out, but like I'll put some names in the chat when we're done. When we're done, then I'll let you know.
Yeah, because I
think there was 2 girls that were like very, very early stages of pregnancy at the end of senior year, where it was just cool. Like we actually made it with the entire, high school with no teen pregnancies. Very cool. Very cool.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Like you guys thought that way. I thought like I was a freshman. It was like week 1 whenever I found like one girl got pregnant. And she ballooned up like crazy for one, which I thought was pretty funny. I was like, yeah, high school girls are DTF. This is kind of cool. Like,
right?
I was like, holy shit, people are just fucking everywhere.
People are really out there fucking. You see it in the movies. I just didn't know that was really what was going on. Here I am. I made it. I'm in high school. It's time to fuck.
I'm in high school, yeah. I was like, so we're gonna start drinking keg beer out of solo cups now? This is pretty cool.
Yeah, party at the moon tower.
Party. That's fucking badass. I just remember that being like my first thought in like freshman year whenever that started happening. I was like, wow, high school is pretty cool, guys.
You think it's crazy.
Maybe this school thing isn't so bad after all.
Did you guys ever have, this is kind of going off that, did you guys have a Matthew McConaughey kind of guy in your years in high school that was like,
what was that dude?
No, like he was already graduated, but he still hung out with the high school kids?
I'll say his name straight up. Well.
Yeah. His name coming to mind, I'm just not sure if I want to say it.
Duck. I'll just say Duck.
Oh, Duck?
I had some that were...
That's all I got to say.
Oh, no. I had some that were like that, and it was just like, looking back on that, I'm like, that is so fucking creepy.
Come on, no. Duck and Buck. That's all I'm going to say. Duck and Buck. Dude, what's crazy is like, before, well, yeah, I guess it was high school. Dude, like 8th grade, freshman year. Yeah, that's who I was partying with, was Duck and Buck, dude. And like, that they were just the McConaughey. And I was like, but that was cool. Like, that's still cool to me. When I think back, I'm like, dude, like, they took me out, they got me fucked up, but who gives a fuck? Like, I was chilling, man. Like,
guys chilling with guys, that's fine. But like one of those that's like 24, always just hanging out with high school girls, it's like,
they weren't quite that old.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, I had one person that was like that. Like, there wasn't too many. There was one guy though that was like, hey, I can buy you booze. What's up? Let me hang out with you. I was like, this is really weird. This guy's strange, guys. Can we just get the beer and like leave him? Like, and my friend was like, man, he might buy us more beer. Let's just stick around for a little bit longer.
Keep him around. Might be useful.
I remember getting in his car, and he had like he had a big ass van, and he like had us all in this van. I was like, this ain't a safe place to be. Like, that's all I could think of. I was like,
why are there bars on the window in this van?
That makes me worried. Who the fuck would
bleach? Loser? Why is there bleach in here?
Well, he was a loser.
Yeah, he was really fucking weird. But I remember he was like everybody was, doing like weed and stuff, like was always around the school.
Everybody was doing weed.
Like that was around.
Snorting beer.
But I remember he was the first person that was like, I take a lot of acid. Does everybody want a lot of acid? And I was like, no, that doesn't sound fun. He's like, hey, have you ever heard of this thing called Ritalin? And I was like, for the ADHD kids? He's like, yeah, you just crush it up and snort it. It's a good old time. I was like, no, I'm out.
Fucking loser, Mark. Like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, that was it was definitely not my first choice to hang out with that guy. He would just show up every once in a while wherever we were at, and he'd be like, hey, I'll buy you booze. Let's hang out. And I'm like, damn it, I don't know about this.
While we're on the subject, have you guys done LSD?
No, not at all. Not my thing. I just drink my beer.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Joe Rogan has made psychedelic drugs look really cool. I don't know why. Like he just talks about it a lot, and I think he's a very influential person. So I feel like more people are doing psychedelic drugs
he's
right
definitely
now.
influential for sure.
The important thing with like psychedelics is that you're in a comfortable space, because like you don't want to like do that and then like if it's your like first time doing a psychedelic, you don't want to like do it and go somewhere where like you have zero control. Like you wouldn't want to like do acid for the first time at like a concert, because you have like no control over that. you know like I think when we first did it after college, when I was just doing nothing, I didn't have a job, I was just kind of living with my frat guys. We did it one time and we just stayed at the house the entire time, just watching TV, like watching like anime and like music videos with like trippy stuff. We spent like 45 minutes staring at a wall because like how it was painted, it looked like the sands of the Sahara slowly blowing across and creating new. It was wild, dude. It was crazy.
Jesus
we got like
Christ,
super
man.
hot. We were like pumping the AC in the basement. We had like bags of water that we'd frozen. It was
Oh,
fun
so
time.
you planned this one out. You didn't just
Oh
jump
yeah,
into
we
it.
were
Bags
we were
of
ready.
hold on.
Yeah,
Bags of
we
water.
put water. Yeah, we put water in the Ziploc bags and then put that in another Ziploc bag and then we froze it just to have like an ice pack.
For
instead
what?
of like going out and buying, because you get so hot.
Oh, you get so hot. Okay.
Yeah, like your heart pumps a little bit faster like the whole time. Your temperature rises. It was like 87 degrees out when we
Does
did
not
it.
sound like a good time, I must say. Sounds like
You don't notice it as much when you're in there. You're just like, oh, kind of hot right now. And then somebody's like, hey man, have a bag of cold, because that's all we could call them. I guess we forgot ice packs was a thing. It was like, here, have a bag of cold.
You're talking like
I
cavemen.
would just be holding this like bag of ice and
cold.
be like, oh my god, yes. Oh yes. Oh yeah.
That's
It was
hilarious.
awesome. It was weird.
Here, this cold.
And then somebody would be like, we're kind of hungry. And then somebody would leave to like go make like chicken nuggets. And then we'd all say that we're like super hungry like 12 more times. And somebody would be like, hey man, you hungry? And be like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. I'm like, chicken nuggets on the stove. Chicken nuggets on the stove with some French fries, man. Go get you some. It was wild though.
Damn, dude.
It seems like you would be doing absolutely nothing to the outside world. They would look at you and you're like, this is just a whole bunch of guys hanging out in a room. And then you guys are fucking to the moon, it seems like, and not really even there.
What's even more fun is when
scary.
you do venture outside, because there was one time where we did a microdose for the 4th of July, and we went down. There was like a carnival and shit, like all those twinkly lights, and everybody's just milling around, and we're just over here like, holy shit, this is incredible. And then some dude's like, oh my God, it's so fucking annoying out here. I'm tired of hearing kids scream. And meanwhile, you're hearing a conversation over there, and then your ears like pop, and you're hearing the conversation over there, and then you see somebody on the Ferris wheel, and you start like imagining them doing something. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a lot. Sensory overload is a
Christ,
doesn't quite cover it. And then the fireworks happened.
Sounds like
and then the fireworks started. Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, I've heard about that though. They'll actually like use psychedelics to like interrogate people, because you can't. It's harder to like maintain a fabrication when your brain's like that sensory overload. So like when they're interrogating spies, they'll do that a lot.
Just
a good spy can maintain that cover of like, I'm just a dude on vacation in Laos, just doing my own thing.
Like open that mouth.
You put him on some serious LSD, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm just a tourist, man, for the government. I mean, what do you say? What? Weren't supposed to say that.
For the government.
Start pulling out your fingers. I mean, pulling out your fingernails.
Or the bamboo shoots under your nails.
Oh God.
They used to do that in Vietnam for torturing. They used to They used to put bamboo underneath your like nails, and they'd drive it in, pop your nail. Yeah, dude.
Nice and slow.
They did a whole bunch of terrible things to those.
Yeah. There's the pencil one, right? Or like something where they just tap your head and like they just
Chinese water drip torture. They strap you to a table so your head's kind of like lower than everything else, so that's just uncomfortable to begin with. And then they have like water drip right in your forehead, like bop, bop, bop. bop, and then just leave you there for hours.
Yeah, the thing they say about that though is like, so everything goes numb in your whole body. The blood rushes to your head. The only thing you can feel is that drop, and then like your heartbeat becomes in sync with that almost, like your heart slows down. And then if they touch you after that, it's an intense amount of like sensory overload, like pain a lot of the time.
Ah.
Yeah.
Because your brain, probably because the blood is going to your brain, so all your neurons are like really, it's like super mode. So it's like any touch, anything, it's like sensory overload. It's like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
damn, dude, that's crazy.
Like,
torture.
And you're in like total darkness, so you have no vision. The only thing you can hear is the water hitting your forehead.
Yeah, they
dripping off
really do
behind
it.
you.
That's crazy.
It's something.
I just seen this thing in Japan where they were talking about the other side, where they had, I think it was before the CIA, whatever that organization was before the CIA during Vietnam.
Oh,
how they
OSO?
were torturing like Vietnamese people to get information too,
OSO.
and the Americans were a little bit more advanced, let's say, because they had like shock and treatment and all this stuff that they were doing on the other side. I was like, damn. And then they went in this whole thing about like how to survive waterboarding. Come to find out, there's no technique to it. You just got to go through it. Like you can't.
Yeah, you got to remember that it's not technically going to kill you. It's just going to feel like you're dying the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the Gatorade ad? There was like a Gatorade ad where they're like taking on one of those big like orange coolers they have at like football games and like dumping it on somebody like in a chair with the cloth over their head, and it's like red, white, and blue in the Gatorade.
Jesus Christ!
And I'm like, Gatorade really put this ad out? Did they?
No,
yeah, that's
no
up.
way.
I think it was like somebody else doing it.
Spoof.
But, yeah,
Spoof.
I was like, wow. Big
crazy.
plays, Gatorade, big plays.
Are they doing sports now, or are they still doing the mask without, or what are they doing with that? Do you guys know?
Last time I heard the NBA, after the Wisconsin thing we talked about a long time ago, the NBA was like not playing because they had that.
I thought they started back up though, didn't they?
Yeah, they started back up. You know, they had all these like policies in place of like how they're going to do the games and how they're going to have like a few people like the season pass holders are going to come in, but it'll be like super spread out. And then you know, Kenosha happened, and the Bucks like you know went on a strike basically to protest that you know what was going on, and then the NBA is like, this fucked up our entire schedule even more than it was already just trashed. So we're done. That's the last I heard of it. They might have chose something different now, but the last I heard they're just going to cancel the 2020 season. And yeah, a lot of people.
Man, I can respect people using their platform in a way that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, when justice is served, or when when people are trying to apprehend someone, it's like everyone's a victim now, dude. You never look at the whole story, dude. It's so crazy. And we've talked about this in other podcasts and shit, and I don't want to really hash into it. It just, I don't know, dude. It just irks me a certain way.
Well, I got one for you.
Like,
I want to say it was Los Angeles. I got one for you. Not to like go too much back into what we've talked about before, but I want to say it was Los Angeles where a police officer let a drunk driver go because he didn't want to, or somebody had ran from him and he didn't want to basically cause any more riots.
Right.
And he just let him go. He's like, I'll take the reprimand over half the city burning. And it's like, are we really to that point?
That's where we're at, dude. That's the thing, man. No, you can't. There's a reason we have police. It's for bad guys. And when bad guys are legitimately caught, they're the victims now.
Yep.
Why is this guy fucking yelling outside? You hear this German?
Yeah, I hear this.
This German guy. Folks.
Ooh, show and tell.
Don't dox yourself.
Don't drop your laptop out the window, dude.
And don't be a sucker.
So no, I saw it was a thing on iPhone. It came through. It was like an old, like cinematic, like viewed from one angle. This is how it looks. from a different angle, it looks like this. But only when you stand back and get the full picture, it looks like this. And the first angle was like a guy running from a car pulling up at an intersection, and it's like, oh, he's a criminal trying to get away, or like a person like that's got a hit out on him or something. But then when it flips to the second one, he's running toward a guy, like grabs him, and it's like, oh, he's trying to like mug this guy or like beat him up or something. But then when you get the full picture, you see that he's running to save the guy from a pallet of bricks that's a little bit too wobbly. And it's like, yeah, when you look back, you get the whole picture of like, oh.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening right now. We're not really looking at the whole picture in these things. All we're seeing is like XYZ with the police officer, and then we have a giant riot on our hands everywhere in the country.
Yeah.
But let's move on from that. We've talked about that.
Yeah. Fucking media. Bullshit.
Yeah. One of those.
Do you get a lot of yelling people at your neighborhood? That just seems crazy.
Not at all, man. That was kind of random. I guess that kid was just riding his bike. He fell or something, and then the grandpa, or it looked like a grandpa.
Oh, are you okay?
He was just like yelling at him in German. Well, I can't even tell if he's yelling because it's just the German language. He was just like, Weiter, weiter, weiter. It's like, fuck, dude. Like, are you just saying, like, are you okay? Or are you saying, like, you stupid fucking kid? Like, I can't tell, dude, because, like, that's just how they talk.
I'll give you that. German language is pretty rough and harsh. Like, if you don't have a concept of it. But I'll tell you what, German language, like, I don't know if you guys listen to music in other languages, but I like to listen to, like, some different stuff. Japan, like, the only thing that sounds good in Japanese to me is, like, they have these big ballads and they like these rock music and stuff like that. And then, like, these folk songs sound really good in Japanese. I don't know why.
Do you like the anime shit? No.
I'm one of the few people that are not into that at all. So I get like other foreigners that are like, oh, why aren't you going to like the Pokemon Center and blah blah blah. I'm like, I know like 3 Pokemon. It's like
Pikachu. That's it. Charizard.
Yeah, there you go.
Chew and Charizard. And ask me why I know it. I don't know why I know it.
There you go. And they're not even the same in Japanese. So the like kids will talk to me about these fucking Pokemon. I have no idea what they're talking about at all. Not the same names.
I feel like Pikachu is the same, right? They can't change Pikachu.
Yeah, I think Pikachu is the same,
Japanese,
but like
anyways. Pikachu.
Yeah, that's Japanese. Yeah,
is that a word in Japanese? Hold on.
Pikachu. So Chew.
Pika.
It can mean like a couple different things, but it can mean like kiss, like chew, like the sound of kiss, or it can be like the sound of a squeak. So, and then Pika would be like the sound of lightning, so it'd be like lightning squeak.
It's a sparkle mouse noise. That's what that is.
Oh, it was explained way different to me because
Pika is from Pika Pika, which means sparkle or glitter. Chew is from choo choo, the Japanese word for the sound mice make. So put them together and you get Pikachu, aka sparkle mouse noise.
God damn it.
Pikachu, I choose you.
That's terrible. Shit. Well, Mew is Mew though, and I don't think that means anything. Like Mew and Mewtwo.
Oh yeah. I was doing a little research about the whole, because I had a question, like, how are people paying their rent in like these times because of COVID and everything, and like people are down and out with jobs, but like, so I was like, what the fuck's going on there? And I'm in the real estate thing, so I found out Trump signed a what's called a renter's moratorium, and basically you don't have to make your payments on your rent.
What?
There's a catch to it. You're gonna have to pay it back eventually. So like basically, moratorium basically just means it's postponed. Okay. And basically you're just gonna have to try your hardest to make your payment. And if you're trying as hard as you can, you're trying to get like some sort of a supplementation or something to help you along the way, and it's just not working for you, then that'll basically qualify you like, okay, he's trying, at least he can't make his payments. That's fine. You're good. Moratorium.
Yeah.
So they're postponing it. So, but you're gonna have to eventually pay it back. I'm not sure exactly how they're gonna do that with the enforcing and shit, but also like there's ways around it. Like, yeah, the landlord's not gonna get their money for rent, but they could also charge you. There's different charges, different fees that they could get away with, where they could
Like
charge you
late
for
fees and stuff.
maintenance fees, like just bogus fees, basically that like they really don't need, but it's a way of income for them to make up for their mortgages that they have to pay for their houses for the
I
renting,
see.
or like really just property tax if the house is already paid off, whatever.
Okay.
Like there's just different ways they can get around it, but for the most part, like yeah, you can just let it's obviously talk to your landlord about it, but like, and they should, if they're a landlord, they should obviously be up on this. But
Mhm.
yeah, there's I was looking
Damn.
at, yeah.
Yeah. That,
Like, would that help you like set up a plan where you're like slowly paying off like your back rent or something like that? Would that
I would
probably
assume
work into
so.
there, or would it just
Yeah, yeah, they
cut
have
everything off?
some system in place, like, and obviously it's going to be between you and your landlord, and like your landlord could take you to court if, because there's going to be uh just civil contracts between you and your landlord, like stating like, hey, I'm doing the renters moratorium, like, hey, I'm not going to be able to make my payments, and then the landlord obviously is going to be like, okay, yeah, that's a thing. Like they're not too happy with Donald Trump right now because of it, but like he's helping the people, so. But like it's in effect, so that's something good, I guess.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
no,
people
they're
at
aren't
trying to
least
help
staying
out.
home.
he's helping the working man. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the
Can't be mad at him for that.
yeah, and I'm
He's
not sure how
trying.
the
He's
entire
trying.
system is gonna work out, where like you're gonna pay it back, but like there is a system in place, so yeah.
You think a lot of people, well, maybe not a lot of people, but you think some people are gonna like they're not gonna pay it off, or maybe they weren't even affected by COVID, and then they're
Yeah,
filing for this thing, and then they just skip town and just leave the dude with holding the fucking ball.
yeah, that could be a fucking issue for sure. And
Yeah.
like, you know how people
Terrible.
are.
Yeah.
People are
Yeah.
people. So people are gonna do whatever they
Affecting
can to
people.
not
Mhm.
fork over money.
Peop-
So
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, there's times whenever I was paying rent in college, and I got maybe I just didn't drop the check in the box that week. Slipped my mind. I could
Yeah.
have I could have easily just walked out and said fuck you and been gone. You know, whenever I was moving here to Japan. I mean, I'm not that kind of guy, but
No.
Yeah.
at the same time, what they couldn't have done much of anything, especially you know.
Being overseas.
Halfway across the world. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, they just attacked my
You're famous.
assets in the U.S. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess because you would have your mom co-sign or whatever for the, I guess.
I had already like done all that way before that. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like they would go after cosigner and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Rough stuff. Rough stuff.
I guess that's why they take like sort of an insurance in the last month's rent, things like
Yep.
that. But where I was at was a pretty. I was in a kind of a little bit of rougher area, and they were just like, pay your rent. That's all we're gonna care about.
Yeah.
Don't show
Right.
up with a gun to our office, please.
Yeah, man. As long as they get their
Yeah.
rent, hey,
I
fuck
gotta
it.
go down to the office today and talk to them about what the heck's going on with like this inspection they're trying to pull next weekend when I'm gonna be back home for my dad's birthday, and how they kind of just they're bad. Like they're like like if I don't jump through all these hoops to tell them like written down that I am leaving at the end of my lease, they just assume that I'm gonna keep living here, and they'll charge me like an extra $100 a month until I sign a new lease. And I'm like, why? We've already talked about this like 4 times that I'm moving out at the end of
You have
October.
to give 30 days notice, Jed. I don't know what the law
60,
is in
60
Illinois.
days notice.
So
They
that's
wanted
the
60
law
days.
in Illinois
No,
Wisconsin.
he's in Wisconsin.
or Wisconsin.
Like I called them at the end of September. No, at the end of August, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be moving out at the end of October," and they're like, "Well, you need to put in like," because I was thinking about just moving out at the end of August, because I was like, that'll be even better. I can just get into my new place sooner. And they're like, no, you have to do a 60-day notice. And at this point, that's like basically the end of your lease anyway. We'll put one of the like eviction forms is what they're kind of called. It's like not really an eviction, but it's like you're not going to be here after this time.
Yeah.
They said they were going to put one on my door. They never fucking did. And now the other day I went to leave and there was like a thing stuck in my door jamb like, hey, just to let you know your lease ends soon and we're going to inspect you on the 17th and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I've already talked to you guys 3-4 times about how I am leaving at the end of October, and you are the ones that have failed to give me the notice and the form to fill out.
You have it in like an email?
No, we were just on the phone. So I'm gonna take the notice that they gave me. I'm gonna take the notice they gave me. I'm gonna go down there today and be like, hey, I need the form. I'm gonna fill it out right now and give it to you. And also, you're not gonna do this inspection until I come back.
Yeah. Are you in an apartment complex or are you in a house? Okay, so an apartment complex, how many units?
I don't even know, but like it's like a complex of complexes. It's 2 levels, super long. I'm in 19, I think, probably about 40 units a building.
Yeah.
But there's like 7 buildings here.
They might have a law, or it's called the bylaws. It's in their it's called a master deed. So you'd have to like look at that, and it would tell you basically, because they could have a different law. They could be like their own laws. It would be like 60 days notice, whereas usually it's a 30-day notice. But for them, they want to be special. They want you to know what your life's going to be in 60 days. So they might just be doing that shit. But I would definitely email traffic for sure. Because fuck that shit.
Yeah, make sure that's working out. And never not get anything on paper, especially whenever it comes to like renters and things like that. Because that's what I've learned.
They take you to court and you don't have any traffic, email traffic or any kind of, they'll fuck you.
Yeah. And that's where I've already learned my lesson with this whole like school thing. Yeah, my camera froze. I'm just like playing it off, whatever, fuck it. But like, yeah, with this whole like cards thing, like they physically like verbally told me that I wasn't gonna have to pay for my last class because I already paid for it. Because I didn't get that in writing or an email, when it came time for me to like get that waived, they're like, there's no evidence of this. Everybody that we've talked to says that they have no recollection of telling you this. You need to pay us $600. And I'm like, I knew I should have asked for it.
So they already, So you've already been fucked by the system once. So you need to take that experience. And
you need to learn and like adapt and overcome, man. I mean, just through my experience in the military, I know to get shit in writing, because especially with your leadership and everything, you want to make sure you have everything in writing so you can like come back at them and be like, here you go. And they'll be like, they can't say shit. They can't say shit. And then
there you go.
After that, you just take it up chain of command. For you, take it up to the courts. If they fuck you, then you could, take them to court. And it probably wouldn't cost you because you could sue for costs and shit like that.
The reason I didn't like push earlier on in this whole like moving out process was that I was so far ahead of it. It was like the 20th or like the 18th of August that I was like, hey, I'm going to move out. What's that going to look like? And they're like, you need this form. And I was like, okay, so you're going to give it to me. And they're like, yeah, we'll put it on your door and you can have it. And then they just never fucking did. And then Labor Day happened and they're just out of the office for like 6 fucking days for Labor Day. And I was like, this is so trash. So I got to go. They open at 9.
You got to email them, Jed. You got to email them.
That's the thing is, like, they don't really have an email. Like everything's so compartmentalized with these people. Like when I was moving in, I called them. 3 other people called me back. 3 different phone numbers called me back about the stuff, like different little pieces here. I'm like, it's like they're using a scrambler on their fucking phone lines.
Property manager.
Always have a different number.
They probably have a property manager.
Yeah, and it's just everything's so compartmentalized. So I might send an email to the email address they have listed on their website. Doesn't mean it's going to go to the right place. Doesn't mean they're going to forward it to the right place.
Well, at least you sent you just need to call whoever is the landlord.
Yeah.
And
I don't
just
know who the fuck the landlord is.
What's your email? I'm sending you an email. And all you have to do is send the email on your end. If they don't reply, they don't reply. But you've done your due diligence and you've sent the email. You have proof that, hey, sir, ma'am, I'm leaving this date. Bada bing, bada boom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go down to the office at 9. and like physically talk to somebody, and I'll
I
get.
want to go down to the office, and then I'm going to call them, and I'm not going to email because that's the way I work,
No,
and I'm Jed
I'll
Barnes.
I'm saying
I know
I'll
what
get
you're
the
saying.
email when I'm there.
I know, Jed. I'm fucking with you, dude. I got you. I love your face, man. It's
Thank
still
you,
just
thank
like
you.
That's pretty fucking
My camera
funny.
freezes on the best. My camera just freezes on the best spots, man.
that's
I
funny,
swear to
man.
God, yeah.
That's
All
the
right.
man that's been beaten by the system right there.
that is. I will agree with you on that.
That is appropriate pace for the conversation, I must say. For real.
That is a man that's been beaten by the system. That was great. That is a great line. That was a great joke, Jed. One of the best ones you've told on the podcast. That was perfect. Holy shit, man.
Yeah, that was good. That's the jokes I like, Jed. That's the shit I love.
Well, you know,
Self-deprecation.
for every one joke that's good, there has to be like 5 or 6 that are bad. You have to tell bad jokes to find the ones that are good. Like I have a whole, like you guys are saying, like Logan has a bunch of stuff, like you know, ready to go for like comedy. I literally have an entire like note thing on my phone of just stories that I could tell if I ever did like an actual comedy skit, you know?
Yeah, like Logan, the thing about Logan is he can do it on the fucking spot. We can be talking about what we were just talking about, and he will fucking come up with some shit that, like, dude, I would have had to have meditated on that for a good hour to come up with that content. And I'm just like, it's almost like he takes your thoughts in your fucking head, he'll bring them out in front of your face, and then he'll like scramble them up to make it funny. And you're like, dude, I was just, you fucking son of a bitch.
But here's the thing, Jed, Layne and Logan are salt and pepper. They're that. They mix together like
when
that.
we get together, it's like
peanut butter and ladies.
Ooh, funny. It's like, ooh, look out.
They ooze together.
We feed off of each other.
Yeah. I had some. I was gonna. Oh, have you guys seen the Japanese, like everybody's like deep faking their face so that like they'll take a picture and they'll sync it up with this song and be like Dominare, Wote Domare, and like a bunch of people are doing it to like famous people's screen grabs and stuff, and like how it moves the face looks so freaking goofy.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Hilarious.
Okay, let me explain this to you. Japanese TV is ridiculous, okay? Just first and foremost. Even like young Japanese people don't necessarily like Japanese television. And how Japanese TV works is, this is for about 90% of the programs. It's celebrities, like comedians most of the time, or different like sports athletes, stuff like that. Celebrities reacting to Japanese TV. So what happens, it'll be like the screen like I'm on now, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be presenting something or I'll be out doing something. And there'll be a little box in the corner of the screen and it'll have like celebrities' faces and they just and it shows them reacting to whatever the fuck I'm doing, right? And it'll be like, oh no, or it'll be like, oh, that's so cool. And like 90% of the time on Japanese TV, they're doing something about food because Japanese people love food, but none of them are fat. I don't understand that shit. And everybody's like, oh, look how delicious this food is. You'll never have Gordon Ramsay style food where the dude comes out and it's like garbage and then he yells at them because nobody will watch that. It's always like this magnificent fucking dish on TV. And I mean, it looks great, but it's always the same thing. Like, it's so hard to watch Japanese TV. There's like a handful of shows that I'm in love with, and the other ones I can do without.
Maybe that's why they're fucking intelligent, is because their media is so like stupid that they don't even want to watch it, so they just read books and just get their.
Maybe.
It's my theory.
My favorite thing about like when Gordon Ramsay does his shows and stuff. So like every time I go watch like a Gordon Ramsay show, my favorite part is like when he goes to a restaurant and he asks the server, "Hey, is the food good here?" And they just be like, "Well, no." Here's the thing. It's like the server knows. The server knows. And then you know the guy will be like, "Hey, Gordon Ramsay, come like check out my failing restaurant and tell me what's wrong with it." And he'll be like, "That's what's wrong with the restaurant." And they'll be like, "How dare you insult my family restaurant?" Like, dude, you asked me to come here. You told me to do this. Like, why?
My favorite part is like when he actually gets like the little appetizer dish, and he's just like, "Holy fuck!" He's just like, "Oh dear fucking god!" Like, puts his spoon in it. And he's like, oh, dear fucking God, when the fuck was this made? Like 6 years ago? He's like, what the fuck is this? You fucking burnt it. And he's like bitching to the server. He's like, how can you fucking burn this? I'm not gonna eat it. Take it back. The server's just
He never ends up eating it, right?
oh,
Are you
like,
fucking trying to poison me? Are you trying to kill me?
he'll take a half a bite. He'll be like, oh my, take this shit back. Like, what the fuck?
I
And then
wouldn't
the
feed
server's
this to
like,
pigs.
I know. Listen, man, I'm trying to get by 9 to 5, just fucking. No, it sucks. It sucks. He's like, it's fucking
Yeah.
garbage. He's like, oh, I didn't make it, but all right. Like, I'll just take the food back, like.
Oh my god.
Whack, dude.
I subscribe to his YouTube channel though. I haven't watched any
Oh
of
yeah,
his new videos.
YouTube channel is cool because like he'll make stuff and he'll just like show you how to make like really good breakfast and like a really good burger. And I'm like, thanks, man. I'm gonna fucking use this.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Like I didn't know that you shouldn't season your eggs until after they've kind of like hardened up a little bit, but now I do. And now my eggs don't end up coming out like brown. They're like yellow with seasoning on them.
It's his pans so fucking clean. Like, it's like he's got a new set every time. It's like, how? Like,
Well, I mean,
eventually,
you could probably
that-
afford a new set every time.
yeah, that too. But like, I feel like he probably buys like the top. He has to buy like. He ain't buying no Paula Deen shit. He's buying like some shit that you've never even heard of,
Dude,
and that
I guarantee
it probably never looks old ever.
Gordon Ramsay probably didn't buy his pots and pans. Some company was like, we think our pots and pans are the best. We want you to find out if they are. And then they just send them to him. And he was like, these are absolute fucking shite. And
Probably
then
got like a garage full of like,
Yeah.
and he's just like, fuck
Well-
it, 8 eggs once, throws the pan away, like.
Right?
I'll tell you, I don't know about this, but I could see it being true. So in Japan, for sushi chefs, taishos, like they have a special title that makes sushi. Their knives, some of them, like the expensive ones, are like made to their hand, like how they hold it, how they're gonna cut something, like special pieces of meat get like a special knife, and how it flows with the blade and everything. Crazy. So I wouldn't be surprised if like Gordon Ramsay's pot is like specially designed for his left hand to like do
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, we need you to make some hand molds and send them in. We're gonna
Right.
print out some shit for you.
We're gonna
But no,
test
that's
your
a-
grip
that's a real
strength
thing,
and your forearm size.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everything.
Yeah, one of the like the blacksmithing channels that I watch on YouTube, like when this he didn't mention the chef, he said he's like a pretty well known chef in the culinary community, but like he got to like a 25-year anniversary of like working at this like prestigious restaurant out in California. So his boss contacted these YouTubers and they're like, hey, we know you do like a 4 channel on YouTube. We want you to make a chef's knife for this guy. And they sent him like a bunch of pictures of like all the chef's knives that he's like liked and disliked and like which one was which. And he made this beautiful like Damascus, S grind, like ebony hand. It was gorgeous, man. I was like, man, if that knife didn't already have a home and I had a few $1,000s laying around.
Yeah, it's crazy to see the knives in Japan because a lot of these companies nowadays, you're gonna pay a lot of money for a good knife, right? Well, here in Japan, it's all the people that used to, like the families that used to make samurai swords, are starting to make chef's knives now. It's crazy quality.
Wow.
Oh my god, it's
Dude,
nuts.
I kind of want you to send me one.
Yeah, there's a
yeah.
special store in Tokyo I'll be going to next time I'm in Tokyo just to buy a nice chef's knife.
Dude,
Hey,
I'll
Mark,
send
my
you.
birthday's coming up, right?
I'll send you some money. Just shoot me a message when you're there, and then I'll just wire it to you straight up.
Yeah,
And
no
then
problem.
Fucking dude.
Yeah, let me know too. I it might be out of my budget, but I would be interested in knowing if it
I'll
is.
send you like the crab shelling knife or something like.
Yeah. Give me the shrimp knife, please.
Yes, there you go. Still be like $20. You'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know,
But
like a really
it's-
good paring
they're
knife
amazing
is-
knives though. Just to like, I've
Dude,
seen
that's
like
bad.
programs on programs about the stores and stuff, and then like the it'll be like a big store that sells different makers knives and stuff, and then you go into like one of these places that's outside of Tokyo. It's like out in the countryside, and it's just a guy that's been working at making knives for like he's like maybe the 27th generation of knife makers in his family, and
Are there?
he's never known anything else. He's like 70 years old, just how to make a knife and sharpen it. That's it.
Hell yeah, dude. Are there
Barely knows how to read.
are there still samurai over there?
No, no,
Like
but
not in the
there's
traditional,
samurai
not in
Yeah,
the.
he's just dudes walking around
No,
in the
I mean,
armor.
like people still practicing like the
Wow.
obviously.
Bushido, like the way
Obviously,
of the samurai.
I mean, obviously, I've seen The Last Samurai, clearly, like, but
You
like,
mean Tom Cruise?
yeah, yeah. But like, is there people that still? I see. I don't know the samurai traditions, but I would assume that there were some traditions that they had that
Yeah.
kind of they carried with
Code.
them in a way.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they're not running around like ninjas, fucking slaying the fucking, I don't know, the other armies of whatever. But like, are there still? Have you met like anybody that's like, yeah, my grandpa's a samurai, used to be a samurai, or my great grandpa, whatever. Or
Yeah,
like
well, you'll find those people because Japan keeps super accurate. What's the
logs?
word? Yeah, they keep super accurate history and everything, and files upon files about that stuff. Uh, so you get tons of stuff like that, and people are super proud whenever somebody was a samurai in their family, or they were a shogun or something, like along those lines.
What is that, shogun?
So maybe you'll get somebody that like lives that way, but they don't actually. Well, you can't have a sword here at all, so they don't practice maybe that aspect.
You really can't have a
But
sword? What is that? Because
it's illegal.
because of the samurai? Like, so you couldn't even have like your great grandfather's samurai sword in your house.
You might be able to have it like
In a
with a
case
lot of paperwork. You might be able to have it in a museum somewhere. I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah. Thing with bamboo
But
is that it's a thing. It's like thick, but like the walls are thin, so you don't have like a good solid piece to use for a bow unless you're using like a really thin bamboo. Like
they did that back in
yeah,
the day.
maybe for like I just don't think it would last very long. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
bamboo does rot.
yeah, and it's really fibrous, so I feel like it would just start splitting in the middle, like
Yeah,
long
eventually.
ways.
I mean, you could probably get it to work like if you treated
Yeah.
it a lot, but from what I know about it, I just don't see it being a thing. But I've seen the
Oh,
wooden
it's
ones
a
though.
thing.
I've seen them
I just
made out of
Googled
wood.
it.
Oh, really?
It's a traditional thing that they made out.
What?
Yeah, bamboo, Yumi, Sarmat archery, fucking bamboo is the perfect material for a bow as it's flexible. A bow must be able to flex, spring back in shape, blah blah blah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely a thing.
Huh.
I just want to make sure I'm not sounding like a fucking idiot over here, because I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
I
that.
sounded like an idiot saying that it wouldn't work, but yeah, apparently. But I mean, I haven't seen one like that. I guess that's what I'm
No.
trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're probably using some modern way.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
something
yeah.
like that.
Nowadays we know like the perfect wood to use that has like the right flex, but also rigidity, rigidness. I don't know, rigidity, something like that.
Well, most now are like carbon fiber shit, right?
Well, yeah, now, but like when you're talking about like wood though,
Reflex bow or the
compound bow.
compounds. Yeah.
But okay, so something that you guys would think would be like kind of like a samurai thing to do is they have this sport in Japan. I don't think they have it anywhere else. Where you actually fight with like this bamboo sword, and they get suited up
katana,
in the whole.
Right?
Is it?
Sorry, I keep cutting you.
Kendo? I think it's like kendo or something like that. They call it, and it's usually a Japanese like junior high school sport that kids do. They have the full armor and everything. It's like Japan's version of fencing, you could say.
Ah, nice.
It's really fucking cool. Like, as a foreigner, it's really cool. Japanese people think it's lame, and like the nerdy group of kids do that stuff.
Dude, I would actually love that. It's a kendo.
Yeah,
kendo.
Kendo,
right?
yeah. Yeah, kendo. I think that's what it.
Kendo shinai, kendo.
Yeah, I think I've seen something about that too. Like, yeah, almost looks like Japanese fencing almost, but with like bamboo swords instead of little tiny rapiers.
Yeah, it's like Japan's version of fencing is the way to think of it because like they're in the full samurai armor, you could say, like get up, and they just have these like swords that really crack whenever they hit each other. They still hurt apparently.
Yeah, they're not like
they're using bamboo.
They're not like it's not like a solid bamboo though. They split it down the length of it and then like band it together again so like it bends more and like flexes more when it hits you, rather than like it was just like solid bamboo would be like crack and it'll actually fucking hurt. But like the ones that have like they're like broken up so they flex a little bit more.
Just a little
still
give,
still hurts.
Yeah, bamboo swords. I think it's called the shinai. That's what it says here. I'm reading the description. So it says kendo, which means sword way or sword path or way of the sword, is a modern Japanese martial art descended from swordsmanship, kenjutsu, that uses bamboo swords, shinai, as well as protective armor. Today, it is widely practiced within Japan and has spread to many other nations across the world. Kendo. Decent.
Yeah, it's something neat. It's something neat to see, guys. Like I said though, it's just like a junior high school sport. Yeah.
Where did
my father-in-law was like the head of his junior high school kendo team.
Oh, dude, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, I thought that was so badass.
Don't fuck with him then. He'll get out his fucking bamboo sword, his fucking shinai, his shinai, and he'll fucking do kendo on you.
He's a badass.
You disrespect my family? You bring great dishonor?
Exactly.
Fucking Western foreigner.
Well, yeah, but the difference is I would have a katana, whereas he would just have a bamboo stick.
Oh yeah, what do you got? Oh my lord, is that like the one you buy from the fucking the mall?
I don't know, dude. I got it from a retail shop for $3.
Yeah.
I got it from a resale shop for like $3. I just bought it for the handle because it looks fucking dope.
How many times has that handle fallen off?
0, but the guard's wiggly though.
Yeah, that's
fucking goddamn it.
And the blade's kind of rusty.
Oh.
Well, I mean, hey, it was $3 at a resale shop, man.
I mean, you could still kill somebody with that. So. I mean,
yeah, like if I took the time to sharpen the blade, yeah, it'd hurt. At the very least, fucking blunt.
Just something about it. How they sharpened the samurai sword, which was, dude.
Oh, it was like a ritual, man. It had a lot of spiritual connection to it.
Sharp, bro. Like they could cut a hair like in half lengthwise, like
as it
in
fell.
the air or something. I don't know. Like they could just like chop a bee in half. Like all the movies you see of like the bee.
Japanese swords. They're so sharp. All you gotta do is like take them out like 3 inches and then put them back in, and it cuts anything you want.
Yeah. Fucking goofy.
Oh my god, that's crazy. That threw me for I did not know that they had banned swords. Why did they ban swords? Like, well,
you can't. same the reason like they ban guns and shit, and you can't even have a blade. Like you can't have a pocket knife here. Like that's illegal. You can't take a knife out in public at all.
What about like when you're working?
That would be like the only exception. Or if you're transferring, like say you need to like you're a chef and you have your personal knives and you need to transfer them from your house to your place of business or something like that.
They gotta be in like a locked box, don't they?
Well, they have to be secured. They have to be put like in the trunk of your car, something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
That's so funny because like I'm literally surrounded by knives. I got a little one on the
Yeah.
table here for like cutting like packages and stuff open. I got a straight edge over there that's like for shaving that I obviously don't use for shaving. I got another one in my kitchen drawer for like whatever. Got my sword in my closet. I got a whole box of pocket knives that I'm just like hanging out. I got one of those like 3-blade ones. It's like a circle, and then you fold the blades out, and it's like a weird like yeah, that's cool. I'm like, I don't even know when I would fucking use this, but it looks cool.
It's mostly like decoration pieces, right?
Yeah. It came with I had a little combat axe. It looked like something out of like a zombie movie or something. But we went axe throwing, and it did really well. It went like with a plastic handle and like this much tang into the plastic handle. I figured it was gonna break pretty soon, but it actually lasted like the whole time we were out there. It was sticking super well. And then like the last throw, like I think I did like 4 throws after it, but like one of the last throws, it just fucking snapped the handle. I was like, well, I knew that was gonna happen. But yeah, it was fun. Axe throwing, great time.
Nice.
Okay.
All right, guys, that was the Gentleman's Bureau, episode 5. I hope you liked it.
Yeah, so make sure you subscribe to our channel. It'll be a red button, and that way you'll be able to be notified when we post new content. Also, make sure you ring the notification bell so it has those little bars around it. That way you get push notifications to let you know when we post. Don't forget, we post all of our topics in the description with timestamps. So if you just want to hit a few topics, just go ahead and check that out and click on what you want to hear about. And anything you want to say to us, topics do you want us to cover, anything that we could be doing better, just put it in the comments. Let us know what you think. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you all. Like the other two just said, and thanks for watching, Mom.
Alrighty. Thank you, Mom. All right, guys.
Mom.
Bye.
Thanks. Catch you later.
Bye.